Welcome, Ahaan Aggarwal, to this interview. Thank you for accepting our invitation and being a part of this interview procedure. Just wanted to know what is your background and how you ventured into this entrepreneurial concept. Actually, what made you to jump into this entrepreneurial concept?
Well, so my background is I'm currently a high school senior at the American Embassy School in New
Okay,
Delhi.
okay.
Um, and this summer I was able to take an internship with Lightbox Venture Capital,
Oh,
based out
okay,
of Mumbai.
okay.
Um, when it came to Junoon, it was around March that there was news coming out about the massive reverse migration of
Hmm.
many workers throughout
Yeah.
India.
Yes.
Because of all issues that arise, both personal and financial.
Yes.
At first there were thousands of people that had to return to their hometowns, or they had to leave where they were
Yes.
working.
Yes.
Um, and that was my initial sort of exposure to
Okay.
a much larger issue,
Okay.
because over the next few months there would actually be millions of people that
Okay.
had to leave their jobs and go back home to take care of family or for
Okay.
other reasons. um,
Okay.
that was a really big pushing factor in the
Mhm.
creation of Junoon,
Okay.
because what was lacking is opportunity.
Yeah.
um, so we think of the fact that there's this unfortunate irony to the situation, is
Mhm.
that for the people that have the privilege of being able to work at home, uh,
Mhm.
these people are for mostly financially secure.
Yeah.
But for those that may need to go to their workplace in order to
Yeah.
actually carry out their jobs,
Yeah.
it can be really difficult to have a stable financial well-being.
Mhm.
Um, so what Junoon aims to do is
Okay.
help those people that lack the opportunity, and help them get themselves back into the workplace now that everything is sort of that the
Yeah.
economy is trying to repair itself.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to check why name called Junoon? Like, what is the background of keeping name as a Junoon and how it represent your concept actually?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, Junoon means passion,
Yeah.
roughly,
Okay.
and in my opinion, that's what all of this is really about.
Okay.
It's the fact that there are people who have all these passions and drives behind them.
Hmm.
There are millions of people who want to be able to do more, but can't.
Okay.
So that's where Junoon comes in. The
Okay.
the goal is to help get them to their passions, and help
Okay.
them climb up the financial ladder,
Okay.
and to provide what is really needed for those that need the opportunities. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Do you call yourself as a social entrepreneur? Because the when we go through your website, it is clearly mentioned in the vision statement as well as in mission statement. You want to uplift this blue collar community. So just wanted to understand whether you call yourself as a social entrepreneur, and what made you, apart from the initial question what I asked, what made you to venture into this concept where you want to help blue collared people by giving them a training and making them an employment ready in the market?
Yeah. So this is sort of branching off of what I said earlier.
Mhm.
But those that were hit the hardest
Yeah.
were the people that had to, for the most part, uh, they needed to be in a physical location in order to do their jobs. and
Yes.
and most of those jobs are blue collars. And then there are
Yeah.
also a lot of gray collars. So
Yeah.
the more I started doing research into the field, what I was noticing is that actually a very large portion of the Indian population, the Indian working class, are blue collar workers.
Yes.
Some
Exactly.
of the most common jobs are in that industry, and then there
Mhm.
are also a lot of other gray collar jobs or pink collar jobs that also fall
Yes.
under a similar category.
Yes.
So all of this is really sort of research done by me and also
Mhm.
some members of the team,
Okay.
in order to better understand that during a time like COVID, and overall, who are the particular groups of who are the particular groups of individuals that need the opportunities.
Yeah.
And then the more we looked into it, the more that we found that there aren't that many opportunities out there for them, and that this is a really great way to start helping a lot of Indians who need it. And then also the fact that blue collar workers itself is such a
Okay.
large factor in the basis and foundations of operations throughout the country.
No. Okay. And
So yeah.
coming back to the same question, do you call yourself as a social entrepreneur? Because you
Yes,
are
sorry.
uplifting a kind of community, actually, community of people. So just wanted to understand your perception about this concept, social entrepreneur.
I don't really know. That's something that I could certainly call myself.
Yeah.
I don't really know about too much about the labels that we can put.
Okay.
What it really is just my attempt to
Okay.
make a difference and help.
Oh.
So if that means that I am a social entrepreneur,
Yeah.
sure, I'm a social entrepreneur, absolutely.
Okay.
But
So you
yeah,
don't want to name yourself as like you don't want to tag yourself a kind of social entrepreneur or any sorts of entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur and with a purpose, basically.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Okay. That's
absolutely.
great. That's great, actually. Yeah. When we go through your website, you have given some research where you and your team did some research and you published the data. So just wanted to check, since you started your operation in March 2020 and till date, how many people you are able to impact, basically, impact in the sense how many people you are able to train and provide employment opportunities. Can you share some data on that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So one thing that is that we had launched Junoon itself was kind of created in April, and we
Ah.
were able to launch in August. So it's actually
Oh.
still fairly recent.
Oh, very recent. Okay.
Yeah, but so far, if on the website we
Hmm.
have 100 hours of content for 20 different jobs.
Okay.
I believe right now we have over 1,500 people that are registered for training on
Okay.
Junoon.
Okay.
And we have like more than 50 employers who are posting jobs
Oh.
on June for those 1,500 individuals, plus more
Okay.
than maybe one that may
Hmm.
want to see. These jobs are from 9 different cities. For the most part, they're
Yeah.
larger cities,
Hmm.
and yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. I think
Yeah.
400 more than 400 job openings
Oh,
are on
yeah.
the site right now
Yes, yes, yes,
in
yes.
11 different categories.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good number, actually, and you also created a lot of impact by giving a opportunity for a person to work, get trained, and get an employment opportunity. That's really good. When now we come to this training part, uh, whether you are opted for online training model or it's a physical training model, what kind of training model you have opted and how it is delivered to the concerned person or registered participant.
Yeah. So it is an online model right now.
Oh, okay,
Right now, so for each category, we have about 5 hours of content,
okay,
and this content it leans further towards the soft skills side of thing,
okay.
side of their
Hmm.
individual industries.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, right now we have those 5 hours of content, but as time passes, our future plans are to
Hmm.
um, you know start start creating some real community colleges
Oh,
in
okay.
over 10,000 villages that we've gathered data from.
Oh, that's
um,
good number,
so
actually. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
This community college is basically skill development oriented, or what is the what would be the vision of this community college which you are planning to open? Providing skill sets to the people, or what exactly the model would be like your plan of action?
Yeah, so the aim is to provide the skill
Okay.
sets to people who may either need retraining or
Okay.
training from the start.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
that'll be more hard skill oriented, because now once we introduce the physical element of it, and we
Hmm.
have the resources
Yeah.
there to be able
Hmm.
to properly teach those hard skills,
Yeah.
that's when we can start getting into a lot of the nitty gritty
Yeah.
details,
Yeah.
and start launching people into the job market who
Job.
may have previously struggled to because they lacked those hard skills.
Yes.
um yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Since this lockdown is there's a slightly this lockdown is opening now. How do you see the job opportunities for blue collar people? Because most of the time, like when we go back to March 2020, most of this migrant people from villages during lockdown time they were forced to go back, and we saw many interviews on TV that they don't want to come back to urban areas or town because of these issues actually. So now, how do you see the market opening, and what is the feedback you are getting from people who are in your community, whether they are ready to come to these towns or urban areas and join this or take these opportunities? What is their feedback?
That's a really good question. um So when it comes to Junoon, one of the big advantages that we have is that the job search process all takes place online.
Oh,
And
okay.
we've done our best to streamline the process and make it intuitive to anybody who really uses the app.
Oh, okay, great.
What what Junoon allows all these blue collar workers to do
Hmm.
is they don't need to leave the comfort of their home
Okay.
in order to find a job.
Oh, okay.
So without platforms like Junoon,
Hmm.
the process would be that these blue collar workers would have to go to the cities and
Yeah,
physically
yeah.
find jobs,
Yes,
and that in
yes.
itself can there are all sorts of it costs a lot of time,
Hmm,
costs a
hmm.
lot of money, and then
Yes,
there's also the risk of safety. Obviously,
yes,
the longer you're
yes.
exposing yourselves to these unprotected areas like
Hmm,
workplaces,
hmm.
then there's an increasing risk.
Yes,
Junoon
yes.
serves to
Hmm.
be able to help those with those specific problems.
Okay.
Um, for Junoon users, applying to jobs is absolutely free.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
all it requires is their internet connection and the
Okay.
registration on Junoon.
Oh, okay.
Um, so that's one of the advantages that are there.
Yeah, yeah.
You also mentioned the fact that everything's starting to open up now. So
Yes,
so
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And as places open up, as restaurants, offices,
Yeah.
warehouses, other workplaces
Hmm.
start opening up, there's going to be that need for blue collar workers again. So now
Yes.
it seems clear. It seems clear that there's good the demand for blue collar workers, and in
Hmm.
that industry it's going to rise a lot.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that's why there are key moments right now
Huh.
where we need to where if you were a blue collar worker,
Hmm.
you need to try and find jobs as soon as possible,
Oh.
because now that everything's opening up, it's a really good opportunity right now, and it's
Hmm.
hard to tell what the future holds.
Yeah.
For all we know, God forbid, but if there was some sort of second wave or some sort of
Yeah.
additional
Hmm.
tragedy that
Hmm.
causes everything to shut down again,
Yes,
that's going to
there's
be
a
really
point.
difficult.
Yes, there's a.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so Junoon is doing its best to help
Okay.
streamline the process and make it easy for those that are still at home trying to find jobs.
Okay, that's a really good job actually. Now coming back to the recent kind of a celebration, what I can say, or it's a kind of achievement, according to me. Junoon raised a kind of angel funding, I think. Can you share a little bit or information about that? And in what are the aspects of your business you would like to invest that money?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that the round was led by Kunal Khattar of Advantage,
Hmm.
and participating in it was Viren Rana,
Oh,
Vishesh Tandon, Chaim
okay.
Friedman, and
Okay.
Sandeep Aggarwal.
Okay.
Um, the usage of this, we're not releasing any details about the valuation or the amount that we've raised,
Hmm.
but the usage of the fund will be split between things like content,
Okay.
technology,
Oh.
marketing, as well as team building.
Okay,
So yeah.
okay, okay. That's great. Okay. I see you are a kind of very young person to venturing into this entrepreneurial game actually. So just wanted to check with you, if a person wants to jump into this entrepreneurial game, what are the skill set he require? It's just for a general public. What is the what are those skill sets and attitude required in a person if you want to jump into this entrepreneurial game from your point of view?
What I've found the most helpful personally is adaptability.
Okay.
Um, I forgot who said it, but somebody said that
Okay.
right now the only constant in our lives is change.
Change. Yes, exactly.
So as everything is changing around us, as just the fact that I've been able to remain open minded and have been able to adjust our my thought processes and plans, that's been very helpful in
Okay.
this sort of odd and frustrating times.
Okay.
Um, I also think that as far as it goes, there's also the need for a lot of communication.
Yeah.
That's also been a little bit difficult lately, but we've managed to pull through. Um, Also, I mean, any entrepreneur could really tell you the rest of them. I'm trying to think of some stuff that's unique.
According to you,
Um,
I'm very curious to know because at the young age you started this entrepreneurial stuff, right? So from your point of view, what are the skill sets and attitude a person require? Because yeah, as we go, as I meet different people, they give me different opinion according to their perception. So I just wanted to know from your point of view, what are the skill sets and attitudes it requires to become an entrepreneur?
yeah. Okay. So yeah, as I said, adaptability,
Yes,
communication.
perfect,
I
perfect.
think for something like Junoon, a big part for has been
Yeah.
empathy.
Empathy.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. That's a
yes.
good thing to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's you have to understand the place that a lot of millions of people, not only in India but across the
Hmm.
world, are facing right now. I'm very privileged to be where I am right now.
Okay.
But empathy has helped me sort of get a good frame of reference to understand
Okay.
what's really needed and
Huh.
what can help. Um,
Okay.
I've done a lot of things to try and adjust our business model to help those. Um, Earlier we went around Delhi NCR,
Hmm.
meeting blue collar workers and asking them, what's the problems that they're facing.
Okay.
Um, and it was understanding their experience and
Hmm.
also having empathy
Yeah.
that helped frame a lot of what we're doing right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm very grateful to the people that we interviewed,
Hmm.
and I'm also very grateful to everybody right
Okay.
now who's facing issues. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect actually. Yeah. So one thing is communication, adaptability, and empathy. This is a perfect thing actually. It's a good combination of skill sets and attitude an entrepreneur should have actually. Because most of the time when I see a person or when I meet a person, either one is missing in the if it's an entrepreneur, either one is missing when I meet them actually. I think this is a good combination according to you. That's brilliant actually. So now coming back to the business of Junoon. Junoon, yeah. Uh, in case of a future plan, where do you see Junoon by 2025? Because another 5 years down the line, where do you see? Because blue collar segment is in India is growing because of the population. There's an increase in the population, so people who are falling into these blue collar areas also increasing. So where do you see yourself as well as Junoon's impact by 2025?
Um, yeah. I do have some ideas in mind, but
Okay,
I'll
okay,
preface it by saying that it's hard to predict because of
okay,
how many things are constantly changing.
okay.
But yeah, I think by 2025, I think that we can get to close to 2 million people,
Oh, pretty good.
applying and getting jobs on if through
Mhm.
Junoon.
Okay.
We'll also be launching some extra facets that help both employers and
Mhm.
applying workers.
Mhm.
Things like the skill assessment tests, where based on a variety of biographical factors like age,
Yeah,
knowledge,
yeah.
experience, language
Okay,
proficiency,
okay.
we can help optimize the job finding process and
Mhm.
get jobs that are well paying and
Mhm.
also nearby to um, individual people,
Okay,
just so that it's easy for them to access the jobs.
okay.
We're also going to be introducing things like know your customer verification,
Ha,
as well as like background checks and
okay,
references to
okay.
help standardize
Oh,
blue collar industries, um, and speed up the process of getting a job. Um,
oh,
that standardization to me, as well as to the team, is super important
okay.
because of once we're able to sort of standardize industries like this, we can
Mhm.
increase the quality of work that goes in, and we
Mhm.
can make it easier to find jobs and increase the amount of job opportunities overall. There are a lot of
Okay.
advantages to being
Yeah.
able to do that, so that's something we're really looking forward
Okay.
to do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now coming back to this demand and supply of your business, what was the initial feedback you received when you approached blue collar community and asking them to register in your platform and get trained and also get job? What was the initial feedback you received?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, one of the big things was that it's just so the process of going out and finding a job in
Mhm.
itself was super dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, but then, other than that, it's the fact that there are a lot of people who have had to leave who haven't left their jobs,
Yeah.
but have experienced incredible pay cuts,
Mm.
and there are also many who haven't even been paid as yet for
Mm.
months of labor.
Yeah.
Um, that's a reflection of not only the state of the economy right now, but
Mm.
also poor job standards.
Okay.
Um, that's not something that should be happening, even if the business even if the business isn't facing any sort of you know even if the business is struggling to acquire a profit.
Mm.
The workers, they absolutely need to be paid.
Yes, definitely.
And there are a lot of cases in which the workers aren't getting paid despite the companies being able to acquire
Mm.
like a somewhat of a revenue. So that also comes back to the idea of standardizing the industry,
Mm.
and making sure that there are safety nets in place and there are rules in place
Mm.
to make sure that the rights that workers have in blue collar jobs are the same as the standards and rights of those in every job.
Okay.
um, I hope that
Yeah.
answers your question.
Yeah. What about the demand side, kind of like employer's point of view? When you approach with this concept, what was the immediate reaction and who was your initial client from a corporate point of view?
Yeah, so when we first presented that idea sort of to a variety of businesses, the feedback that we got was, well, overall, that it was promising, because a
Mm.
lot of the struggles that these employers and businesses face
Mm.
is also similarly um, the inability to find workers that match their needs,
Mm.
um, as well as the lack of a lot of soft and to a certain degree hard skills
Mm.
from the workers that they tend to employ.
Okay.
Um, so that's one factor.
Okay.
You said another part of your question that I think I
And the
missed.
part is, who was your initial customer from corporate point of view? Who has opted to join your platform and hire this blue collar job? Because that is what like a kind of a happy moment when an entrepreneur feel when he get a first client on board and when he serve the when he do this or when he finish his purpose actually. So just wanted to understand that point of actually. Who was the
Yeah,
initial client?
Yeah, sure. So some of the initial businesses we got were businesses that I was able to, reach out through my like immediate connections.
Mm.
So we were able to get businesses like Value 360, Green Coal,
Okay.
Fixcraft.
Oh,
Um, we were also able to get Shop Clues on there.
oh, okay.
We were able to get a lot of others.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Can't remember too many of them off of the top of my head. But that
Mm.
list is slowly starting to grow as we're reaching out to, that set the foundation,
Yeah.
those initial businesses.
Mm,
And
mm.
then, day by day, week by week, we're able to
Yeah.
onboard more businesses and individual employers
Okay.
onto Junoon. Um,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that I think it's kind of visible in your website actually. So when I just visited your website, I could see many like top startups as well as some big corporates are your clients, like in terms in hiring mode actually. So there's a I think as a common man, I feel like it's good to see this kind of opening for blue collar people actually, because those were the people who got affected severely when lockdown was announced. But now there's a huge opportunity waiting for them. Only thing is they have to make up their mind and come out of their whatever the fear things are there in their mind, and so I search for the opportunity. I think Junoon will really helpful, and they bridge the gap between the demand and supply in terms of I think job opportunities. Yeah, I think if you have anything to share with us, with our audience, please go ahead. If you want to share your feedback or anything for that matter.
um, I don't think I have anything to share.
Okay.
I've thought of everything. You had
Yeah.
a lot of good questions, so a lot of
Okay.
that had been covered.
Okay.
Um,
That's
so yeah.
great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we have come to end of this interview today. Thank you, Ahaan Aggarwal, for all your time and sharing your beautiful journey with our audience. Thank you again.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.